So basically this is going to be a filter grill that you'll see on your ceiling. This is what opens where we change our filter, and this is a common issue that we'll see in California with the length and the width of the filter grill not being enough square inches of filter to be able to compensate for the restriction of the filter. And what will happen with regards to air quality and performance of the system. So this is just a small 12 by 12 filter grill so that we can handle it easy for the video. But when we open this up and we take the open the grill here, what we see is a track. So when we put a track in this filter grill, that's to hold a 1-inch filter. So when we put the filter in that's too restrictive, what we don't accommodate for and what we don't talk a lot about, which is a major deal, is what's called bypass. And for instance, if we're putting this is a MERV 11 filter, but if it's too restrictive for our airflow, not only do we not get the flow to our equipment so that it works correctly, we get other unintended consequences. So when we put this filter in, if it is way too restrictive on our fan, that fan is going to get its air wherever it can. So the fan, whether it's in the attic or in the garage or wherever the fan that moves the air through your ductwork is located, it's sucking air through this grill to get the air that it needs to cool your home. So when you look at these filter grills, you can clearly see the gap here. There's a gap all the way around here. Those filters are not sealed 100% airtight. So if you increase the restriction with a more efficient MERV rating, you literally can suck more particles past your filter, which is called bypass. So we're bypassing the filter. So we got this really good filter to catch the particles at a real high rate here, but a lot of the particles are going right by the filter because the pressure is too great on the filter, the resistance, and we're just sucking air around the filter. So what is done correctly is when you put your filter in every month or so, is what should be done so that you don't have bypass, is you either use blue painter's tape or you can order on Amazon white painter's tape. It's not expensive, it's like $3 a roll, and you can tape that filter in so that you do not have any bypass whatsoever. So if you tape that filter in, basically something like this with your blue painter's tape, okay, you seal that gap, so you do it all the way around, that air is going through the filter, not through the gap. Now, if you don't want to look at that blue painter's tape, or it's in an area where you look up and you see it through the grill here, like that, then invest in some white painter's tape for yourself, and you just Google white painter's tape on Amazon and you can secure yourself enough white painter's tape for 2 years worth of filter changing. So the unintended consequences of the wrong filter with the wrong pressure drop goes well above just starving the equipment for air. We have other issues with the equipment as well. So when you let air bypass the filter, on the other side of this is going to be the duct that goes to the unit. So when we look at this filter here on our ceiling and the air is going in here, okay, on the other side we're going to have a duct connected to it all the way to the unit. Well, that duct is in the attic, and that duct is probably not sealed airtight. So if you increase the restriction here and the resistance with a filter, you're going to cause whatever duct work is between this and your unit to suck more air through leaks out of the attic. And that's above, that's on the other side of the filter. It's not going to, that dirt and debris is not going to be caught in the filter, it's past it. And that's where you can make your air quality even worse by investing in too restrictive of a filter here and sucking undesirable air out of your attic. So it's important to know that bypass with most filter grills is a reality. We're going to look at a filter grill in a second that actually has experienced bypass and what to look for in an actual house, and show you that scenario. But it's something to really consider, is investing in some tape. So here's a regular filter grill. And when we open it up, we see the customer has changed the filter recently, brand new white filter. So when we pull this down, we can see the bypass that we've been talking about. So in the back corner there, you can see all of that dirt there is on the upper side of the filter. So what that means is that dust has gotten by the filter, and if it's there, it's everywhere else in the system. So we know that we have filter bypass on this grill, and it doesn't matter how efficient this filter is, we've got air going by it. So you can clearly see all of the dust there in the on the unit side of the filter. Now here we have even more dust at the duct. So you can see all of that is past the filter up inside the ductwork. You can see it here. It's basically falling out of there, and that's air that you are breathing because it's past the filter. The filter did not catch it. So a perfect example, that filter that I just took out of there was a MERV 11, and a lot of its air was going right by the filter. But understand that all of this ductwork here that comes off of the unit is above ceiling line. So all of this, any leaks or anything we have here, is going to allow air from the attic, which is above ceiling line. If we have a lot of restriction here, we're going to suck that air in to the airstream, and that's above this filter. So that's where, if we have a real restricted filter here, we can get negative results for sure.